We are Witches Who Podcast.
Yeah. Hey, Shelby.
Hi, Dee.
You have anything weird to share? Something creepy happened to you lately?
Actually, I have a couple of things to share. One weird and one that I refuse to acknowledge is weird. Okay, you ready? All right, so first things first, the weird thing. So we all know that I am currently in progress of manifesting my own poltergeist.
Oh, yes.
So I actively do this every single day. I do something around like trying to stir up activity in my own house. And obviously, you know, with love and light, I don't want any crap, but you know, there are good spirits too, right? So, I mean, whenever I'm downstairs, and it's really interesting that I figured this out because it doesn't happen when everybody's around. And it won't happen when my husband's around. And it's usually only in the middle of the day.
Will it happen when your pet is around?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Totally fine with Tucker. But not Dozer, not the other one, the big dog. No. It happens with me and Tucker. And, you know, I think you've been here when it's happened. And then one of our other friends. Okay. So in the middle of the day, if I'm downstairs, you will hear footsteps up in upstairs. You will. And I've figured out that it is where it's coming from because I've heard it like when somebody's actually up here walking around, like my husband or something. I'm like, that's the same noise. So I figured out that it's from my bathroom. So from my master bathroom, you have to walk into my bedroom and out the door. That is the route that you hear this particular creaking. And that's what you'll hear if you're sitting downstairs. So I'll try to talk to it and I'll try to like, you know, invoke some stuff. So yesterday I was trying to encourage whatever this thing is to move something. I was trying to get it to move the door, my master bedroom door, because that's the route that it takes from the bathroom to the door. And it kind of goes back and forth like that. And it like, I can feel it. Like, I think it just kind of rules the upstairs. Like, I think it just, it lives upstairs. Like, it's fine. Because then I'll hear the footsteps downstairs, come upstairs, and then I'll hear them above me, like in the attic space.
Oh, okay.
There is an attic space that I've never been in.
Ooh, maybe we should do an episode and go up there
and go
see
up
what's
there
going on.
and like we should probably put some stuff up there, like crystals or something. I don't know, but
I have a visual of like the ghost is just like putting their ears against.
it's like listening right now.
Yeah, this is like, ooh, are they coming up here? Clean up.
Yeah.
You know? Make it tidy for these two witches.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Anyway, so I was trying to provoke this thing, and not provoke. I mean, like I was just encouraging. I was like, hey, like I know you can do it. Like I'm not even. I was being so like, I think you can totally. I was like, use the energy from the lights. Like I was like trying to like explain to it like this is what you can do. You know, and then I told it I was like, listen, I know that you don't move around and you kind of stop when my husband comes home. He's gonna be home soon. So if you're going to do something and you're going to muster up the energy, now's the time to do it. Because when he comes home, you leave or something.
You're gaslighting.
I'm totally gaslighting this ghost right now. And so the door's like half open. And then I go over there and I like move it just to see like how easy it is to move. And I'm like, it's pretty easy to move. Like, but then I like blew on it like as hard as I could with my breath and I couldn't get it to move. Okay. So I'm like, okay, so that tells me, you know, something has to be able to put force against moving it. Okay, so I'm standing out here in like the loft area looking at my bedroom door and trying to encourage this thing. So directly to my right is like my whole altar wall and like table and counter and like the whole 9 yards where, you know, there's a lot of energy buzzing around over there. So I'm kind of leaning up against that, looking at my bedroom door. And I tell it this, I'm like, okay, like now is the time for you to do this. And I kid you not, a little flutter happened. Like just a little, like to enough to where I was like, did that really happen? Or am I just really wanting it to happen? Yeah. That my brain made it happen. You know what I mean? Like my brain says it moved even though it didn't. Or did it move? I don't know. And I also know for a fact the air and the heater were not on because I'm in this whole like boycotting the energy companies right now kind of thing. Okay. So
got it. No, totally agree. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is
I don't know.
insane.
So weird. I'm going to keep doing it. We're going to see what happens.
I have to tell you something.
Okay, I'm excited.
So I'm thinking that maybe you're conjuring things into my home.
Oh crap.
Okay,
Sorry.
so
They're good
yesterday,
things.
yeah, it wasn't bad, but I was like, oh, this is weird because it was very alien looking. So that's the
even
thing.
better.
I know, because I don't really call in that, kind of energy. So we, against my better judgment, we have a really big TV in our room.
Every good story starts with against my better judgment.
But anywho, I was like our bed sits right in front of this gigantic TV.
I mean, I have one too.
Yeah, basically, right? So I had gone into the room. I had a bunch of laundry in the room to put, and I had the bed was full of laundry, and I went around to like my side of the bed to do the laundry, to just start folding the laundry, but the TV was off, so it's black, right? So I grab the remote. I'm all making the movement with my arm. I grab the remote. I aim it towards the TV.
So theatrical.
So I grab it, and I as I. Sometimes you'll turn on the TV and you're not even looking at the TV. And as I click on the screen, in the black screen, there's this, like the reflection of like an alien, like standing by my husband's, the drawer? What is it called? The
like dresser or whatever?
Dresser. Of his dresser on his side of the bed. And I was like, and then the TV turned on.
Yeah.
And he's gone. Well, I don't know who's gone. Then I was like,
what did you do?
I was like, I turned on my velita, put on my little candle, and I was like, shoo, go to Shelby's.
She wants you.
She's waiting for you. Wrong witch. Go.
Do you need the address?
Yeah. No, it didn't freak me out. Like, it didn't feel bad. It just felt like playful and like curious and things like that. So I still had to ask Mike to sage and Palo Santo in the middle of the night, which my husband is so good. I think he saged at like, I'm all coffee in the middle of the night. It was like 2:30 in the morning. He's all like saging around. And then I didn't smell the Palo Santo. Like I fell asleep, and then he's coming to bed, and I'm like, hey, do you Palo Santo? And he's like, no, but he's like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm like, no, you have to do it right now.
Yeah.
It's like, says who? I'm like, says me. And the forces of the universe. So he did. He went in Palo Santo, and then I crashed, and it was hard to like out. But yeah, maybe you're calling upon these spirits, and
the heck, you guys,
just make sure like when you conjure them into your own home.
I'll make sure they know next time for sure.
We should talk to your other friends. Maybe they're appearing in their homes too.
Make sure they're all okay.
Yeah, and they're all like out. You're just forcing them out of your home, and they're like,
I want them too much. You see, so they're like, they'd run away from me.
You're too needy.
I'm too needy. It's
needy.
it. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Right. Okay, but I do have the other thing that I said and I refuse to acknowledge as weird.
Okay.
So we're recording this on the last day of January, which I realize this episode's not going to come out to like, I don't even know, March or something. I know. But so this is the last day of January that we're recording this. And so when the new year started, so January 1st, we both started with one of our other friends, the Gabby Bernstein's 21 day manifesting challenge or whatever it's called. And so this is why I'm refusing to say it's weird, because it worked. So I've never gotten that specific before. Like when you think about manifesting, I'm like, I want abundance and this, but no, she really breaks it down to where it's like, no, you get super specific on the one thing, like very minuscule specific, like very, very specific. And I did for the first time ever. And I think I've never done that before because I didn't believe it. Because I was like, if I get too specific, then it won't happen for me. Or when it doesn't happen, then I'm going to be upset. Right. And I just let go of all that. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to get super specific and let go of that. And I think that was the key, was you have to wholeheartedly believe in something without the doubt to manifest it, right? And it's that self-doubt, and it's just the doubt in general that the universe is going to provide that is blocking you, right? That is your block. That is your limiting belief, is that you are not truly trusting because you don't fully believe in yourself and your own abilities, right? And so I did, for the first time, I'm not gonna say ever, but like in a really long time that I consciously was like, no, this is what is going to happen. And what does she always say? She always says, you say it all the time too.
This or something better.
Yes, this or something better. And so that was it. Every time I started to like almost open that little doubt door, I was like, no, it's this or something better in a story. And today is January 31st. Yesterday, the day before the end of the month, it all fell into place.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got off the phone yesterday. I was just like, what? I was like, wow. It didn't even click at first that was like, I totally forgot about it. I forgot.
And that's
completely.
the best part.
Yes.
That you forgot about it. And you said it. Once we let go of the outcome of what we want, we get what we need.
Exactly.
So I'm so proud of you for letting go.
Thank
Let's
you.
continue. And as you were talking, I saw this vision of you and I sitting in front of Joe Rogan interviewing us.
Here
like
we go.
we're in New York.
Yeah.
We're passing along our doobie.
Yeah.
And we're chatting.
Well,
and
I
we're
think he's
eating
in Texas
cupcakes.
now, so it's even more doable.
Oh, fantastic. Closer. Not as cold. I don't know.
Well,
it depends when you go.
yeah.
Right? Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want the doobie part, but
I want the frozen yogurt part.
oh, yeah.
Maybe he's smoking and we're just
I'll hang out all day. Yeah, for sure. But
nice. I love it.
Otherwise, I'll have a panic attack. Nobody wants that. Okay, anyways. So on that, I'm Shelby.
I am Dee.
And we are Witches Who Podcast.
And weird.
And curious. And
curious.
the
And
manifesting
all
poltergeist. Okay.
Yeah, you. Okay. Well, you at my home. Okay.
Yeah. I'm really good at manifesting for other people, apparently.
Apparently.
So,
all right.
manifesting things you didn't want. So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Oh my gosh. All right. So anyways, today we're talking all about the D word.
And not the good one.
Wait, hold on.
Well,
Define good.
true. We're going to unravel the demons.
Demons. Okay. Sorry. Yes, we are talking all about demons and things.
Evil spirits, fallen angels.
Yeah. So like what even is a demon? So I've heard them defined as evil spirits, right? Fallen angels, just like malevolent supernatural entities, minions of the devil.
Oh,
Right? They're doing the devil's work.
Oh, I know. I just like the word
minion.
me too. And just like, Despicable Me did it for me.
It makes it not evil for some reason.
They're so cute.
Just all these little
Couple.
minion demons popping around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, also kind of creepy though. Once you said popping around, I'm more like, oof, no thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is a demon?
Okay. What does the wiki tell us?
Okay. I've summarized a lot of things off Wikipedia, but I'm curious on your take. When you think of demon, what do you think about? Like what pops up?
The church.
Oh, okay.
For me, growing up Catholic, it was just like you hear demon, you hear the priest. I hear like I
Power
hear
of Christ
water.
compels you.
Yes, so that's what pops for me. It's like the devil, the demon, like bad spirits, people that did really bad things, like maybe they were rapists or things like that. They became demon.
Got it.
Just here to torture humans. So basically, the government.
Did you hear? You didn't hear it from us, you guys. Okay. Yeah. Right. So out to torture humans. So Wikipedia. I'm going to read you this summary that I made off of.
I always love the wiki. I
do too, because people can go on there and like change stuff. So like sometimes I'm like, okay, sometimes you have to like really show discernment for sure. Yeah. So that's kind of what I did is I pulled what I thought was good.
Okay.
All right.
Ahead,
So
wiki.
I have a few paragraphs. So settle in, folks. Okay. So a demon is typically understood as a malevolent supernatural entity present in various cultures, religions, and mythologies. The term originates from the ancient Greek word daemon, which referred to a spirit or divine power without negative connotations. Right? Weird. Okay. Over time, especially within Christianity, this term evolved to represent evil beings intent on causing harm. Yeah. So beliefs in demons date back to ancient times and ancient Near Eastern religions and Abrahamic traditions. Sorry. That was very different things. Demons are often viewed as harmful spiritual entities capable of causing possession, necessitating exorcism. So you have to exorcise these demons out if you get possessed.
So interesting. In the word like Damon.
Yeah, it's Daimon.
Yeah, but you heard the name Damon.
Damon, yeah.
And because my sister who has a daughter, and but she always wanted, like, if I have a son, his name will be Damian, which is Damon in Spanish. And I remember my grandma told her, no, that's the name of the devil.
Yeah.
I know. And one of my really dear friends, her son is Damon. He's like the sweetest boy ever. So it has nothing to do with it. I don't,
it's intentions behind it, right? Totally.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. So Jewish demonology, which significantly influenced both Christianity and Islam, incorporated elements from Zoroastrianism during the Persian era.
So what is it?
Zoroastrianism.
I don't even know what that is.
Me neither.
Okay, cool.
That's what it says. In various traditions, demons are perceived differently. Obviously. Some view them as independent entities responsible for specific evils, such as natural disasters or diseases. In religions featuring a principal devil feature like Satan in Christianity, demons are often considered subordinates tasked with tempting humans into sinful behaviors. The study of demons, known as demonology, examines these entities with religious beliefs and myths. Depending on the context, demonology can pertain to theological studies, religious doctrines, or occult practices. Demons may be viewed as non-human spirits or discarnate entities that have never inhabited a physical body.
Yeah.
Discarnate, I guess it's, I said that weird. It's important to note that not all cultures perceive demons as purely malevolent. For instance, in ancient Mesopotamia religion, certain demons could exhibit benevolent qualities. Similarly, in various traditions, demons might be considered neutral or even protective spirits, depending on their nature and interactions with humans.
Yeah, there's actually a Netflix show, I think it's called Chaos. And demons are good.
Yeah, see? There's, exactly.
Yeah. So
there's one of my favorite book series, the All Souls trilogy. Demons are good.
Yeah. So it doesn't, but you hear the word demon and you're like, ooh,
bad.
It's like, is the only thing. It's like,
not
let's ask
always.
Questions.
Exactly. It's just like the alien that showed up in your room. Let's ask questions.
Yeah, it's cool, curious. Just shoo
Not
out.
Everything is bad, you guys.
Nope.
Yeah. So a little view into demons, but I also think that we're super quick to just blame them for everything too. Like anything bad, or especially the church, like you were saying, any sinful behavior is considered, work of the devil. And
I know.
These demons are just tempting you into a bad fate and to do terrible things and whatever, but maybe not.
I know.
Yeah. So I went through and kind of did a little bit of research on different demons across some different cultures and pulled some mythology that was super interesting.
Ooh. Just for all our listeners, Shelby's the one that did all the research this time. I'm just like all of you. I'm just a responder of like, ooh, no.
Just along for the ride.
Yeah.
It's okay. You have input later. Don't worry. I have questions.
I'm curious about all this. I'm like, tell me more. What are these stories?
I also want to just call out that energetic protection's up, everybody, because we are calling for it, and I'm about to say some names.
Wait, what? You didn't tell me.
I know. I did that on purpose.
Okay.
So
okay, now I'm ready.
There we go. Exactly. That's why I'm calling it out. So just give yourself a moment, if you're listening, to just kind of imagine yourself surrounded in white light, divinely protected. Feel the breath in the body and just envision yourself fully protected, shrouded in this beautiful angelic white light. We're all good. All right. Once you've got that, buckle up.
You may get more in this episode than just listening to two funny chicks. You may get a demon. So better protect yourself.
I take no responsibility for what is about to happen. Okay.
Neither do I or the podcast, please.
Yes. Okay. So here's a list of some well-known demons, and I'm going to name them.
Well-known by whom?
Good questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. So go.
Just listen. Okay. I'm just kidding. Well,
just
who knows these?
Do this. Listen.
What kind of person knows this stuff? Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to say the first one. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, Lilith.
Oh, okay.
See? Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of person knows who? Okay. I'm just kidding.
Apparently me and a lot of more people.
Most people.
Everybody.
I think when you hear Lilith, and everybody has heard that book. Not everybody. I shouldn't speak for the masses of humanity, but most people, I would say, has probably heard the name Lilith, right? Or anybody that's really probably listening to this podcast because they're into this stuff. Okay. Well, Lilith is actually from Jewish folklore. She's a female demon believed to seduce men. So in Jewish, why can't I say that word right now? Jewish tradition. Thank you. Lilith is a powerful female demon who was once Adam's first wife, but refused to submit to him and left to become a demon who preys on newborns and men during sleep.
Oh, wait, Adam, like Adam and Eve?
Yes. Yes. So she was essentially like the first human.
But I feel like, but she's good too, because isn't it Lilith in like a lot of the oracle cards?
Yes, because she's a fully empowered woman.
Yeah.
And, you know, I blame her. I don't like blame is not the right word, but like for like women empowerment. Like she is the figure of women taking their power back.
Good for her. She didn't want to submit to
she goes,
Adam.
Screw you, Adam. Keep all my own stuff. Eat your own apples.
Cut your own apple and eat it. Okay.
Right? So again, like not all demons are bad.
Okay.
But also like you have to also keep in mind who is writing this stuff.
Yeah. The men back in the day.
Yeah. So Lilith is bad because she refused to submit to
Adam. And because of that, she preys on babies and men. Yeah. They just threw the baby in to make her sound palatable for the women.
Totally. It's ridiculous.
Come on, back in the day, people.
So moral of this story is any woman that refuses to submit to a man is a demon. Hear, hear.
Honey, you heard it on the podcast.
It's fact.
Okay. All right.
All right. Moving on. Asmodeus, also from Jewish. Doesn't that sound familiar?
She does. Oh, is it a he?
No. Yes. Oh. Yes, obviously. Okay. So Asmodeus, also from Jewish folklore, is the king of demons who often tries to thwart. I love that word. Thwart marriages.
Oh.
Yeah. In the biblical book of Tobit, Asmodeus, the demon of lust and wrath, is depicted as a malevolent entity who kills the potential brides of a young man, Tobias, until an angel intervenes.
Okay.
Sounds like jealous to me.
I know, that was just jealousy. It's okay.
So envy? I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here's one that is, you'll hear a lot, and you'll also hear different different names for this one. Or maybe demons that come off of this guy. I don't know. Okay. Pazuzu.
Pazuzu?
Pazuzu. P-A-Z-U-Z-U. Pazuzu. And I've also heard Zuzu.
What's that? Okay, Pazuzu reminds me of that.
The cookie? A Pazuki?
There was like a Ponzu, or what is it?
A kazoo?
No.
What are you thinking of?
Sorry, let's move on back into the
All right,
demon.
we'll circle back to whatever.
Ponzu sauce is what I was thinking
ponzu sauce. That makes sense.
Pazuzu. Okay, so what's up with the Pazuzu?
Okay, so Pazuzu is a Mesopotamian myth. Is from Mesopotamian mythology. It's a demon associated with disease and misfortune.
Ooh.
So Zuzu is one that you'll see that comes forward through Ouija boards a lot.
Oh,
so I found some stories kind of around that, and they're all kind of similar. Is like when you basically don't mess around with stuff you don't understand.
Yeah.
Did we not learn anything from before?
Yeah.
But so Zuzu will come through to people that like don't have proper protections and stuff like that are just opening freaking
whatever
Ouija board, spirit board, all kinds of stuff, and will come through and spell Zuzu out on the board.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I found like a bunch of different stories that's happened to, and then people are getting sick all around them, and they're getting sick, and it's like, wow, okay, so don't F around with the Zuzu, guys.
All right, and that's good to know. Next time you're like, there's always like one friend who's always sick.
Yeah,
I'm always sick. It's like, okay, are you messing with anything? Are you calling upon Zuzus? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, another one is called Lamashtu. And this one is also from Mesopotamian religion. The most terrible of all female demons. Daughter of the sky god Anu. Often depicted with her is Pazuzu, the Mesopotamian king of the demons. She slew children and drank the blood of men and ate their flesh.
Ew.
I know. The bearer of 7 names, she was often described in incantations as the 7 witches. Lamashtu perpetrated a variety of evil deeds. She disturbed sleep and brought nightmares. She killed foliage and infested rivers and streams. She bound the muscles of men, caused pregnant women to miscarry, and brought disease and sickness. Lamashtu was often portrayed on amulets as a lion or bird-headed female, kneeling, like a bird-headed female figure, kneeling on an ass, so like a donkey. She held a double-headed serpent in each hand and suckled a dog at her right breast and a pig or another dog at her left breast.
Dang.
Isn't
She
that
sounds
gnarly?
horrid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sounds bad.
Yeah. Don't want to come around that chick.
No. Keep walking.
Yeah. Yeah. Gnarly. I feel like when it was being described, like, I feel like I've seen this somewhere. Like this like image, and I don't know where or why for that matter. Okay. And
Maybe you'll conjure her.
Oh God. No. Whoa. I don't want that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so those are like the main named ones, and then there's just a couple other ones like more broad.
Okay.
So there's the succubus or the incubus are actually, I didn't know that they were technically demons.
Okay.
And they're from Western folklore. So they're seductive dream entities that prey on sleeping humans.
Oh, like Incubus the band?
Incubus or a succubus? Well,
Incubus, there's a band named Incubus.
Oh, well, the band.
Curious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dream entity that preys on sleeping humans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Interesting. And then Greek mythology, daemons, so it's Daemons. So daemons. Daemon, I don't know. Were often considered mischievous spirits, but some like Impuza could be malevolent, appearing as a seductive woman with animal-like features.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think between those two, I think a lot of the time, like the succubus, incubus kind of thing, they get blurred.
Okay.
Where like they're not necessarily bad because it's this, sultry, sexy woman coming for you kind of thing, Yeah.
And then I'm going to eat your
Yeah, and she eats you. Yeah. In Hindu mythology, Rakshasas, it's Rakshasa.
Okay.
Rakshasas. I'm probably saying that wrong. Are demons known for their cruelty and cannibalistic tendencies with prominent features like Ravana. Ew. That's creepy.
Yeah. Please don't eat us.
Yeah. And then in Norse mythology, Jotun are giants or demons who often clash with the Norse gods. Yeah. So
interesting.
Those are kind of like some broad overviews of demons and ones that we've probably heard of and just things to be aware of. And then there's also this thing called the Lantern of Light, and it was written in 1409, 1410 era. And it provided a classification system based on the 7 deadly sins. So known as the 7 deadly devils or 7 princes of hell. So each demon was tempting people by the means of those sins. So it kind of tells you like what demon was associated with what. So yeah, I'm going to go through the 7 deadly sins and what demon is associated.
I feel like I've definitely heard this growing up, like Catholic,
oh really? Yeah,
like the 7 deadly sins, and it was like, and also I think it was like the 7 horsemen or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so each sin, so there's 7 of them obviously, are associated with a certain demon, and it was said that if you were experiencing any of these things, that this was the demon that was possessing you or that was attached to you.
Oh, dang.
And needed to be exorcised out. Oh, super interesting. So the first one is pride, and Lucifer is responsible for pride. Yeah.
Okay, I thought Lucifer was responsible for everything, but only pride. Okay,
apparently just pride.
Okay.
Envy, and this one is, I'm going to say this wrong, Beelzebub.
Okay.
Envy is Beelzebub.
Kind of fun to say.
Yeah, I'm like, where did these come from? Like, it'd be really interesting to know, like, where these
who made out these?
Yeah. And then wrath is Satan.
Another name for Lucifer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Apparently,
well, apparently all the same, or not.
Yeah. And then sloth, which I'm not quite sure what kind of sin that is.
Like the animal?
It just says sloth.
Like being lazy, like
Maybe
slow, lazy, laziness.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Abaddon is that demon.
Okay.
Greed is mammon.
Okay.
I feel like I've heard of that one. Gluttony is Belphegor.
Sounds like a chubby one.
Yeah, right. It does. And then lust is Asmodeus.
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus. Yes. So,
okay.
And when you think about like shadow work in association with demons, I kind of had this like weird little like aha moment when I was going through this of like, isn't shadow work just like working through these kinds of emotions, right?
Exactly.
To reach like freedom, to reach liberation. So it's kind of like shadow work is facing like these 7 deadly sins, are facing these demons, you know, to be able to break free from them, to exorcise. It's like a personal exorcism.
Yeah.
That was my whole thought process. It was really interesting. But
it's just not, you're not convulsing quite the same.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because then you start thinking about like somatic work.
True.
So did that play a part? Like, were people really like just going through like somatic experiences and they're like, oh, exorcism, demons.
Just throw some water at those chicks that are doing somatic work and
wear
a rosary. Yeah. And you're doing an exorcism in the eyes of the church. Yeah.
Right.
True.
That's what it seems like, because you're just, working through all of these things, that all these emotions that are negative, all of those things. Right. And like, our tissues carry memory. And so that somatic work is helping you move those emotions out of your body. I mean, how often are you like, have you ever had that sensation like when you're about to fall asleep and then like your limb jerks?
Oh yeah.
It's just your body relaxing, but it's like, that's what it's like, an involuntary like jerk kind of thing. And like, that's kind of somatic work where you're really moving that energy through the body. I'm like, okay, yeah, it might feel involuntary, but it is your body responding to emotions. Yeah.
It's insane.
Super interesting.
Do you have anything else on that? I have a question.
No, go.
Okay. So I have a question on exorcism. I don't know if you may. So I didn't grow up in the States, so the Emily Rose, like a very famous Emily Rose exorcism. What was that about? What was it so famous? Do you know anything about that?
That's a good question.
Okay.
We should do a whole episode on just all these famous exorcisms.
Yeah. I was like, I know there was like movies around it that I'll never watch.
Wasn't like the exorcism movie like
on her?
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I actually don't even know because I don't watch that. But I was just curious. I was like, what? Why are these exorcists? Why did they become so famous? Or why did only those become like recorded?
Yeah. There's something wrong there. Because there's some fishy business for sure. I don't know. I think that would be really fun though, to like kind of go down a Reddit hole and like.
Yeah. You and Reddit lately.
I freaking love Reddit.
Yeah.
It's a real problem for me.
Every time I hear it's like, I found it in Reddit. And I'm like, okay. It's like, yes.
Okay. But yeah, all about exorcisms, that would be really fun. So I have like a little bit about like the history of exorcisms for sure. So that's my opinion about exorcisms really. And also like, why am I sharing all this information with you about demons when this episode is literally titled How to Get Rid of Them?
We will talk about that though.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. But also like, knowledge is power. So the more you know about these things, the less power it has over you.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you know, which one was it? Like Zuzu is disease or whatever. Yes. So if you know, yes. So if you know that, and you've been effing around with stuff, maybe it's time to
get rid of the disease.
Yes, confront this demon and not let it have that attachment over you, or not let it have that power. Right. So knowledge is power. And that's why I'm sharing all of this stuff with you. And also because it's fascinating.
First, we want to share all about this. Make sure you have a demon and an attachment. And then we're going to teach you how to clean it.
Exactly. So I also decided that it would be really interesting to learn about real life exorcisms. So just like you were talking about how, you know, the media and, you know, Hollywood has blown up this exorcism movies and all this stuff and made it into this horrifyingly scary phenomena that happens. And well, this actually happens all the time. Like the Catholic Church exorcises things and people all the freaking time. So I did a little bit of research about the history of exorcism, and I'm going to read a little article about it to you all. So this article is actually from National Geographic.
I love Nat Geo.
I do too, and they're reputable sources. So we can throw this link down if you're interested in our show notes if we remember. We'll do our best, but just Google it. Okay. So the real history of exorcisms that you don't see in movies. That's what caught me. You don't see this in movies. Okay. So exorcisms are a frequent fascination for the film industry, and it can be hard to separate fact from fiction. But the idea of purging evil, whatever its form, has roots that straddle the line between AD and BC. For most people, the word exorcism probably conjures up images of Catholic priests compelled by the power of Christ. Wind from an unknown source blowing, candles flickering all around them, casting out demonic creatures and wicked spirits from a person or in some cases a place. Movies like the 1973's The Exorcist highlight the use of holy power, holy water, prayer, and even reason to drive out a nefarious force, all as the epic battle between good and evil plays out in front of viewers' eyes. But is that accurate? Exorcisms really happen. And what's at stake during one may not be too far off from what pop culture would have us believe. In the 2023 movie, The Pope's Exorcist, based on the memoirs of the real Catholic priest and exorcist Father Gabriel Amorth, for example, offers a highly fictionalized version of a real insider's perspective into exorcism. In its focus on the horror aspects of a contemporary exorcism, what pop culture like The Pope's Exorcist doesn't provide is a clear understanding of how exorcism as a practice actually came to be. So,
okay, I'm all getting comfy over here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Settle in.
Let's see.
So, exorcisms are real. So, what were the early ones like? So, exorcisms performed by the Catholic Church are likely the best known exorcisms, but at the heart of any exorcism is the enduring battle against evil. The definition of evil is malleable, however, and depends on belief system, practice, and context. As a result, evil can take form from a demon, a spiritual impurity, or a simple temptation. Yeah. Impurity or a simple temptation.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Exorcism as the weapon to combat evil expels, cleanses, or protects from whatever nefarious force is at play. In Mesopotamia, during the first millennium BC, purveyors of magic called Asipu staved off, I'm probably saying that wrong. There's some dialectics here that I don't fully understand. So I did my best. Staved off and expelled demons that brought illness and chaos. As spiritual leaders, Asipu were esteemed protectors who used amulets, performed elaborate rituals, and when needed, engaged helper demon figures in their efforts. The ancient Greek word daemon, which from which the modern demon derives, referred to godlike spirits and supernatural forces. While a demon could be good or evil, the later was malevolent force that needed to be cast out or exorcised. So it wasn't always bad, but now it is, apparently.
Yeah.
The 1st century AD historian Josephus recounted the story of Eleazar, a man who freed others from a demon by drawing it out of his nostrils and repeatedly invoking King Solomon's name, attesting to a form of exorcism in Jewish tradition.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like it hurts.
Yeah, right. I just think of like how they like preserved mummies, how they would like stick that little tool up your nostrils and rip your brain out.
Oh, no.
So interesting. So with the growth in Christianity during the first 3 centuries AD, the established themes of exorcism found even stronger footing. So exorcism became a means to unite the Christian faithful and vindicate their beliefs in the wake of religious persecution. The spread of Christianity meant paganism took on an evil connotation, transforming non-Christian beliefs into something that needed to be exorcised.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Non-Christian beliefs into something that needs to exercise. You don't believe in it? You must have a demon. Let's get it out of you.
And hint the witch trials. Okay.
There you go.
As a result, renouncing paganism as an evil became a requirement for baptism into the Christian faith.
Wow.
Falling back under the influence of a pagan belief was therefore akin to possession. Exorcism is this is just kind of funny. Exorcism in this context was a voluntary mechanism used to strengthen both the Christian faith and the Christian community.
Wow. Yeah.
Exorcism served to legitimize Christianity, and by the 4th century AD found extensive use in pre-baptismal contexts. Converts and aspiring Christians underwent daily morning exorcism in the lead up to baptism. On the day of baptism, a bishop literally blew evil influences off of them through a process called exsufflation. Exsufflation. In the moments before being baptized. The individual was anointed with oil that had itself been exorcised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of baptism, churchmen carried out exorcism by laying hands on the possessed while commanding evil spirits to leave their bodies. Christians in late antiquity and the early Middle Ages could exorcise themselves, so to speak, by calling on a saint as an intercessor, going to a shrine and appealing for aid from a sacred entity to get closer to God and further away from evil.
So they were doing like Reiki.
Yeah, they were literally doing Reiki. Yeah. 100%.
And yeah, and like, so the last baptism, I don't know, my friend's baby, but yeah, that's what they do in the Catholic Church. Like, that's what happened to me and my kids. You know, they do the oil and they do the water and they, you denying Satan.
Yeah.
Even though you're a baby, you can't say even why, you know. He's like, wow. Or you're sleeping. Most of them are sleeping. And as soon as the water pours, they're like, wow. And the priest just thinks,
it's such an
the devil is coming out. It's like, no, the water is cold.
So there's like the concept that we're all born flawed, right? Like
yeah, sinners.
We're all born sinners, essentially.
That's why you need to be baptized. Yeah.
Got it.
Well,
yeah, I guess.
If you haven't been baptized, girl, have you been baptized?
I have been.
Oh, okay. Then you will no longer go to hell.
Good news, everyone.
Yeah. For that reason. For others, other reasons, who knows? You better,
It's true. It's true.
Stay on the true path.
Stay pure, people. Stay pure. All right. So then the Middle Ages came, and it wasn't until roughly the 12th century that exorcism underwent a significant transition. This was brought on by the rise of heretical sects of Christianity. Groups like the Cathars, my bad, espoused the dualistic content between God and evil, an affront to Roman Catholic doctrine and hierarchy alike. To the Orthodox Catholic faithful, and more importantly to the Catholic leadership, this hearsay presented a newfound benefit of exorcism as an essential mechanism by which Christians could be freed from the sinful heretical beliefs to which the era was giving rise. Proving one's dedication to Christianity found formalization through exorcism, with personal prayers taking on the form of self-exorcism. Additionally, theologians like St. Thomas took on topics like demonology and helped define and clarify the purpose of exorcism in the process. The publication of the first exorcism book around 400 AD was followed by what would be decades, if not centuries, of crisis for the Catholic Church. The Protestant Reformation split Christianity and meant that the demonized other was perhaps more present than it had ever been, from the perspective of the Vatican. As a result, persecutions like the Inquisition took on an exorcism-like feel. In this context, the first official rite of exorcism was sanctioned by the Catholic Church. So in 1614, Ritual Romanum was instituted and remained largely unchanged through the first half of the 20th century. That is a long time.
Jeez.
It included I'm going to butcher this. Do not speak Latin. Basically a really long name talking about how to exorcise something.
Wait, that's it.
Okay, de exorcismis et supplicationibus. See, I'm telling you this is bad. Quibusdin, or of exorcisms and certain supplications.
Hey, that did not sound so bad. Okay.
That was rough. Anyways, after reforms undertaken by the Second Vatican Council was the last part of the Ritual Romanum to be revised. The updated version was published in 1999.
Oh, dang.
So from 1614 to 1999. Yeah. Wow. So versions of this really long name I can't pronounce are all super similar. So it didn't really change that much through that time. So although the latter reinforces the connection between baptism and exorcism, as a result, contemporary exorcism not only continue to mirror their ancient predecessors, but have in many ways come full circle.
Wow.
Yeah. So I love this part. So where does all of that leave pop culture? The movies can be fun, cathartic place to see modern interpretations of exorcism. But for the real history, it's always best to turn to the dogma.
Absolutely. Oof, mic drop on that.
Right? That was a good ending to that article.
That is so crazy.
Yeah. So basically we're all born in sin and everybody has to be exorcised.
Yeah.
And how many, this is actually a question that I want to ask some people that are active in the Catholic Church. Like when you're getting baptized, do you view it as an exorcism?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's no longer called that, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's not called that
because
anymore.
you're it's like a mini exorcism because what sins can they really bring in? The Catholic Church doesn't really believe in past lives or anything like that.
Yeah, like
so,
reincarnation.
But then what sins are they coming? Why do you come flawed? So I don't know, but you still have to pay for a baptism, so make some money.
That's a good point, huh?
Yeah. Pay for the baptism, the party.
Yeah.
And all the things that come with it.
People that come are supposed to give you money too, right?
Oh, no. And then when, after you baptize, and if you're the godfather, no, the godmother too sometimes, but the godfather is supposed to have all this money in like change. And then they call it el bolo. I don't even know what bolo means. So B-O-L-O. And, no, it's a V as in Victor O. Anywho, one of those two B's. And they throw it and then the kids go and grab it. It's going to throw el bolo. And sometimes, if you're a richer godfather, you'll throw some bills and everybody's like, you get all this money.
Got it.
And it's like a
only
form of
kids can go get it. So it would be really not cool if I my 30-year-old ass ran up the thing.
A 20 may have fallen near my foot and I just pick it up.
Just step on it until wait till everybody leaves.
It's like, here. But yeah, it's supposed to be for like the children.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
That's so funny. Like all of this is so convoluted, I feel like.
But it's so funny because like in Mexico and something else of like getting demons out. So you heard about piñatas, right?
Yeah.
So it used to be like on Christmas is very popular to, now they do it for like kids parties.
Yeah.
But it used to be very popular that on Christmas you would get a devil piñata.
Oh.
And then you will beat it to death.
Yeah, makes sense.
And get like the light out of it, which is all the candy and, like fruit, prosperous things. So you kill the demon and all this prosperity comes.
Oh, and that doesn't really happen anymore? That's not really a tradition?
I think more in the South. There are people that are way more traditional, but now,
I want to do that.
they get pop culture people.
Yeah.
Celebrities.
Misappropriation.
Piñatas.
My bad, sorry.
No, that you can do it like,
New tradition.
I know. The next time we have a holiday party, this year's 2025 holiday party.
We're bringing devil pinatas.
I know for our yoga. Yeah. So all of yoga, Shelby and our yoga instructors and our boss is pretty cool. So I'm pretty sure we can use the pinata. And she's Hispanic, so I'm sure she's into the devil pinata.
That would be really fun, actually.
To bring prosperity to the studio, let's kill this pinata.
Murder this demon and get candy out of it.
But that's what it was. No, it was a representation of like killing the
awesome.
devil because Jesus was going to be born and going into the new year.
That's awesome.
Isn't it crazy? I don't know. So
I mean, I really like that tradition. And it's weird that it adapted or turned into children's parties.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because I do remember doing the piñata when I was a kid. And then as I grew up a little bit older, there was like less kids and things like that, and they stopped doing it. But I don't know how it evolved, because now you go and beat up on like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, exactly. SpongeBob.
Bluey is getting beat up.
Yeah.
I have no clue. That's interesting. I need to research that. I have no clue.
Maybe all those things are demons.
They are, probably. I don't know if you're beating on them.
That's true. Yeah. Good point. So talking about the church, so I was trying to pull up this story earlier about this girl that the title of the story was I survived a real life exorcism.
Yeah.
And so I read the story yesterday and I was like, oh my God, I have to share the story on the podcast. This is like literally perfect. Obviously it was, I was researching this stuff, so it was popping up. But so I went to pull it up again and I learned my lesson, and I should have like copy and pasted it and put it somewhere that wasn't controlled by the internet because now it's gone.
That is crazy. When you showed me that before we were recording, I was like, well, I was looking for it too and it wouldn't come up.
It won't
But
come
I
up.
was thinking, what if you would have copy paste to like your notes or something else? And what if that would have been gone too?
Yeah, who knows?
I know. Like the picture from Kelly, the listener.
Yeah,
you know?
It just disappeared.
I know.
Yeah, I
How
was
crazy.
not meant
but
to
do you
read the
remember
story.
anything?
I kind of remember it, but it was so like the way she was telling the story, she put emphasis on it was just such a well-told story that I'm not going to do it justice. But it was basically around like she was on a mission, like a missionary trip.
What year did this happen? Do you remember how old was she? Or
she was in her teens.
Okay.
And it wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
Okay, so I'm not talking. It wasn't like in the 70s. Or something.
No. It was like modern day.
Okay.
Like last year, like not long. It was 2024, October 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so she is telling this story about how she was on this mission trip and like with her church, and she was tasked with like taking down all this information about exorcisms from the priests. So they were writing a book essentially, like, or just all these accounts of exorcisms to be able to give to like the congregation and the community. So she is in this room with these two priests and they're telling her all these crazy stories and all this stuff that's happening. And she's like, the whole time I'm like, kind of thinking to myself, like, this is crazy. Like, this doesn't really happen. Like, I don't believe this stuff, you know? And so she like said something and the priest was like, oh, you need to be exorcised. You have a demon in you. You need to be exorcised.
Because she started to question it?
Yeah. And so she's like, I'm a kid. Like, I'm like, of course I'm going to believe him. Like, and so, yeah, like, oh my gosh, I guess I have a demon in me. And she's like, the whole time I was like, this is all bullshit. Like, I don't. Like, I don't
she was just going through it, but she's like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, like you can, like the way she tells the story too is like, it's either I play into it or I get like, you know, like shunned or whatever. So she's like, it's one or the other. Like, I don't know what to do. And so he gives her all these specific instructions to like go to this person's house and go through this exorcism or whatever. And she's like, the whole time they're like telling me, you know, like you have a demon, you feel this stuff, like, you know, all this. And the whole time she's like, I don't believe any of this. So she's sitting there and, you know, they're like telling her what to do, like close your eyes and just start breathing. And then it starts to like, the person starts to address the demon, like asking for its name and like asking all these questions. And she's like, I don't like feel anything. Like, I don't know what you want me to do here. And so then they leave with, like, you know, the lady.
Did they record her or no? No.
Oh, okay. And so the lady was like, oh, well, you need to come back later, make another appointment and come see my husband who has like,
so the priest didn't do this exorcism.
No, this is a different, I don't even.
So whatever town she was missionarying in, there was like some
person that
does lady who does exorcism.
Probably. And so, you know, so she leaves and is coming back later to meet with the person that's apparently more powerful that can get rid of this demon that is clearly very stuck on her. And she's like, I still don't feel anything. So finally she goes back for the appointment and then is yelling. And so it's kind of the same kind of process where it's, you know, asking all these questions. She's like, either I play along or I'm going to have to keep doing this.
Oh.
So she's like, forget it. So she's like, so I just tried really hard to like come up with a name, like pull a name forward so that they would like, this could be over with. And so she like pulled out a name or whatever. And like that goes through the whole process or whatever. And at the end of it, they're like, oh, okay, like, how are you feeling? You're okay. You're so much better. Like, wow, you know, all this stuff. And she's like, yeah, wow, so much better. And then she leaves. And so then she's telling like the end of the story. She goes, so I don't know if I believe in this. I don't know if the devil's real or what. She goes, I can honestly tell you that I really didn't feel anything. I really never even thought the devil was in me in the first place. But who am I to say that name that just popped into my head wasn't a demon that was attached to me?
Yeah.
So she's like, was I possessed? I don't know. But I definitely went through an exorcism.
And survive it.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible.
It was really interesting.
Jeez. Like, who knows? Maybe. Came forward. Maybe it was that.
Yeah.
Wow. So crazy. Well, I'm glad that it went just like that because I've heard of many stories where people take advantage, especially of women.
Yeah.
And then it's and we saw it all kind of come out around the Me Too movement of, making you closer to God, and having to rape you and things like that. So, let me exorcise this demon out of you through rape. It's just like, no.
Absolutely not. That is
this
horrific.
abuse is not okay. Oh, okay. Not cool. But, okay, I love where we're going with this, because now you listener out there, how do you know if you have a demon? Either in you or your home.
How do you know?
And how do we know if this demon is good or bad?
Yeah, because now we learned that they're not all bad.
Yeah, that's true.
That's good. Like this girl, she apparently had a demon and didn't even know it.
And apparently a peaceful one, because there was just a name and she didn't feel anything. And she's like, cool.
And she was cool.
Moving along, I'm sorry. Okay, so how do you determine? Like, I have my own take on, like, okay, if there's, I wouldn't call it demons, but if there's any low energy
okay, let's establish that real quick.
Well, first I want to ask something. Okay. So I kind of really like the story you just told. So on the enlightenment scale, which we haven't used it in a little bit, where do you think that story falls?
Ooh, okay, honestly, I'll say like a 6.
Oh, okay.
Why? What were you gonna say?
It's like from 1 to 100.
Oh, that's right. Not 1 to 10. 666. Wait, that's way over 100. 66.
There you go. I feel about the same. I was thinking about a 70.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Okay. But yeah.
And just because like the way she was telling it, and obviously the way that I like reinterpreted it was very much so like, this is all a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if exorcisms are necessarily like the thing to do, or that demons are going to possess you. Like, I'm not sure if I buy into the possession thing.
Well, my dear Shelby, I'm going to tell you something right now.
Okay, well, let's hear it. You're going to blow my mind. Here we go.
Energy worker, clearing negative and low vibrational energy. Both of us are Reiki practitioners and energy workers. Who says that we're not doing an exorcism? Right?
I've never thought of it like that before. That's true, because you know what's actually really interesting, because we call them extractions, right? But when I'm looking through like traditional like shamanic texts and stuff, they call them exorcisms.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. They call them exorcisms, and then we've kind of like moved away from that word, because now it has this negative connotation with the Catholic Church. Now they're called extractions, where you're pulling these negative entities. But that's why I wanted to like set that discernment of like, what is a demon? Like modern day, what is a demon? Like there's these there's these beings and these deities essentially, right? But then there's also like just negative energies and low vibrational entities, right? And like that's kind of where I wanted to go a little bit.
Oh my gosh, a story. You just trigger a memory.
Ooh, tell me.
Okay, so I remember, growing up Catholic, I have to go to church all the time. But I remember being not in my hometown, but we were in Mexico, in a town nearby. My mom had gone to see a friend, and we went to church, but it was in like a Catholic church. It was another religion. And they did like an exorcism there. I must have been like 8, because I remember there was this gentleman kneeling in the front, and this minister, like it was church looking, but not Catholic church looking. He had his hand over his head, and it was like moving his head and like because this man had been unfaithful. And it was like, the demon was inside him.
Oh my God. So it's the demon's fault. Okay.
Yeah. And they did. And I remember just kind of and everybody's like, Hameen, and praying. And my mom is just looking at me like, are you okay? You good? What's going on? I was just like, what is going on?
Interesting.
And then the guy, like the priest or preacher guy, was like moving his head back. And I remember he had his left hand on him, and he had like one hand up, and he's like, doing his whole thing, very animated. And I was just like, what is going on? And suddenly he like pushed him back, and the guy came out like, like took a gasp, and he was fine. And I remember, oh my gosh, I remember his, like, I'm thinking it was his wife, he had been unfaithful for, had like a baby, and she's crying, and they're all embracing. And I was like,
interesting.
I was just like, okay, I don't know what this means, but it was really weird. Not thinking about it, I was like, come on, you just wanted to go back to your wife because she was so about to leave you, and you just blame it on the devil.
Yeah. I was possessed. It wasn't my fault.
I know. We're so judgy. I'm so judgy. Sorry.
Pazuzu was in me.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can remember.
He went into Pazuzu.
Oh no. Oh, now we're getting on the other D word topic.
So yeah, but that just triggered that memory right now. It's like, oh my gosh, I can see it so clearly. So yeah, I've seen that, but right. Like, how do you know if you have a demon? So I would always say it's like, not necessarily, it's just like, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Right. Of course, if suddenly you are like negative attachments.
Exactly.
So now for modern era, maybe we won't call it a demon. Maybe you do. But for modern era, maybe if you're more irritated, right? You're more irritable. Irritable. And if you're just being short, not feeling great, not wanting to do great things.
Kind of just being an a-hole.
Yeah. Just things like that. Maybe, try some grounding.
Yeah.
Try an Epsom salt bath.
Or maybe you're just constipated. It's very real.
Or maybe just
try eating some fiber.
Take some Saipan. Eat some broccoli.
Maybe that was like the whole movement was literally like in the Catholic Church, is the priests just were all constipated and thought it was the devil.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All they needed to do is take a good poop.
Can solve a lot of your problems.
Yes. Take a laxative and you're good. Yeah. So determining or something in your home, right? Noticing that everybody in your home is being irritated. They're being, irritable, being more short with each other. The vibe just feels heavy. Sage.
Yeah.
Sage. Or get a cat too. Get a cat and sage. Get a pet and sage.
And I think there's too, so any of those negative feelings, I know we were talking about the 7 deadly sins earlier and stuff like that. All of those negative feelings, even self-doubt, something that that little voice that is telling you you're not good enough. How do you discern between it's your own inner self-doubt versus an external entity that is attached to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And attachments are very, very, very real. And they usually come in when we're not in our highest vibration. Yeah. When we're not feeling, we're not feeling great.
Yeah.
That's when they usually come in. But okay, do you have any others to determine if you have a demon?
Well, I think no.
Because then if things are moving in your house, it may just be a friendly ghost.
Yeah, exactly. It might not just be a demon. It could be that super cool alien or the ghost that inhabits my upstairs. You know, it doesn't have to be a demon or a negative entity. But there's also not feeling good, digestive issues, definitely
brain
if it's attached
fog
to
even.
you. Yeah.
Brain fog.
I think it can be attached to you specifically or in the environment, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you do about it? One of the biggest things that I like to call out is, what's your immune system like? Because we can do all the things we're about to name, but if you have a low immune system and you have low energy and low vibration, they're just going to come back, right? You
Absolutely.
have to nurture the environment that you're in, aka your body, as well as your external environment.
Yeah.
So take her away. How do we get rid of these demons, Dee?
Well, okay. I would say, well, okay, let's start with the self first before our homes, right? Because we know we can do a lot with our homes. But starting with the self, one of the things is grounding, just first coming in. We're too much in the head, too much in the body. It's movement, move the body, but be outside, be barefooted outside, connect with a tree, get into the energy of the tree, come back into the earth, do a shake it off. The somatic movement, that is always good, because you're going to begin to raise your frequency and your vibration, and anything that it's low vibration cannot live in a high vibrational body. So I would say an Epsom salt as well. Get an energy work, get energy work done. Drinking a lot of water.
Oh, that's a big one.
And also using the water to flush whatever is of lower vibrational frequency out. So something that I learned kind of recently was to work with the trees, connecting back to the earth, to remove the negative energy from the body. So you can literally be around the tree. You don't have to hug it. Extra points if you do. But, and just asking the tree permission to just cleanse and purify your body of any negative energy and leave it and connect you back to the earth. And I have tried that when I feel, a little extra just anxious, and it just feels so good. Even if you're like, okay, maybe I'm I feel good already. You'll feel even better by doing that. But the earth is very cleansing. Things want to, it's a way to transmute. Stating, I transmute and alchemize any and all lower vibrational frequency from my body. Epsom salt baths are like one of my favorites, but just putting your feet and, doing like a foot bath with Epsom salt, cleansing your aura, using certain oils that, that you like creating a bath around that. Totally. Going and getting, a shamanic cleanse as well. And there's different things that people can do. They can actually do like spiritual cleansings that are designed with very particular types of herbs that you can do. And what I do sometimes, I have pepper trees in our property.
I love pepper trees.
And literally just kind of like, I pass by it and just kind of like
rubbing it.
Yes. They're so cleansing and healing. But then it's like, okay, I don't have any sage or Palo Santo, which I always say sage, and then definitely fill in the space with something else. So Palo Santo or using like incense. But what was I say? Rosemary.
Yeah.
So there's other herbs that you can use also for cleansing, and place a white candle out and just kind of sending the energy there. Use music or the vibrations or just sound to clear a space. So that was for me for like the self. Do you want to share anything on the self, and then we go into the home?
I mean, I think you covered it. I think another one that I like Epsom salt baths, like if you don't want to do a full bath, you can use like salt in the shower and you kind of just do like a salt scrub. I've done that, but a lot of the stuff like that I do is I like to start with my environment and then I move to self, because if I'm going to cleanse myself and I'm just stepping out into the same environment, then it's like, I feel like I just undid all the work, you know?
I started backwards.
No, it's fine. Whatever. I mean, it might be fine. I think that's a personal preference,
Yeah, no. I will always start with the
environment. Yeah, it just makes more sense to me. But no, we can go straight into that because I have a lot of stuff about that.
What do you have with the environment?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do, right? So a big one is declutter your house. And I granted, like I have a lot of stuff packed into a small space here, but it's all pretty much organized to a certain extent, give or take some spaces. But energy gets stuck and it'll hide in all of those little stuck spaces. So if there's anything like that, clearing the space, making sure that you have, things are up off the floor, that the energy can move around easily in your spaces, opening a window every once in a while and, let fresh air in your house. You can put salt on all the window frames and the door frames. I always put selenite or tourmaline around there too. Crystals that help transmute negative energies. What else? And then there's saging or smudging or seining in the Celtic tradition, which is the same essentially as seining. It's just seine, it means to make sacred. So whatever you're doing, you're transmuting the energy, you're making it sacred. No evil can live in something sacred. So that's why we call it seining. And that you can seine with smoke, with water, with fire, with a lot of different things. And most traditionally it's with smoke. And juniper is a really big one for seining.
Yeah, that's true.
And also like the way you do it. So with seining, you're creating like that X pattern. And you're Xing out, you're making it sacred, you're Xing out the evil kind of thing. And also just being careful that like what smoke you're using, what herbs you're burning, especially if you have kids or pets,
absolutely,
or allergies, and the way you do it, right? So it's like I have a 2-story house, so I'm gonna start from the top, like the furthest away from their front door, and push it all the way towards the front door. I'm not gonna smudge or seine with all the windows and the doors closed.
No.
Because now you're just moving shit around the space and it's not going anywhere, right? And then I know there's like like Palo Santo, you want to do them, right? You want to sage or whatever, and then come out with Palo Santo. So why don't you talk about why that is?
Yeah. And I want to say the intention is what is the key to everything. Totally. Not just like, you're listening to this podcast and going la 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 la.
Yeah.
Don't listen to demon podcast.
Yeah. Turn this podcast on and do this. Yeah. No. And sound too. Like I use a lot of sound, and you don't have to go buy a bunch of equipment, all this crap. You can literally go outside and prick a rosemary's thing. If you're in California, I'm not going to say go pick some sage because it's technically illegal, but you could. And it literally anything. And with sound too, you don't need to go buy a sound bowl or whatever. You have hands.
Yeah.
Clap. You can clap,
Absolutely.
You have a voice. And that's kind of like the power of prayer where that comes in, is you're using your like the vibration of your voice. Yeah. Right. So
with why we Palo Santo after saging, so sage cleanses a space and clears, and then we want to fill it in with something else versus I just sage and it's beautiful and it feels great, and then you have some friends coming over with these attachments, and now the energy is kind of all funky. So you want to continue to sustain that that cleanse energy. And that's why you fill it up with like a Palo Santo that is more soothing. So it's softer, and it fills up the space. So when people come over, it's more your energy. The energy in your home is more protected.
Yeah, there's no room for their crap to leave behind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this has been awesome. Do we have anything else? I think we share a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big one. I put at the end of my list of like, what do you do to get rid of demon? And I was like, call a priest at the end. All else fails, call a priest.
Yeah, yes.
Or shamanic workers. Yeah. I know a lot of people, and I've done it before too, where we've gone to a space to help families kind of push these entities out. And there's power in numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Or you can call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that too,
So that can help too.
Yeah.
But this has been so fun. I learned so much. I know you did most of the work this time around, but I was just I don't know, I had all these questions. I was so intrigued. I love when we do this.
Yeah. So I guess to recap it, stay away from Pazuzu and watch yourselves. Demons aren't bad, on all of them at least. Show some discernment when you're working with things you don't understand.
Eat some broccoli. You may just be constipated.
Exactly.
Rather than possessed.
And yeah, so also too, like if you guys are struggling with this stuff, I know we make a lot of jokes, but this can be very real.
Oh, absolutely.
And scary. And reach out. You send us an email, which is podcast@gmail.com. We're more than happy to share more with you. Put you in contact with people that can support you, or depending on where you are, support you ourselves. But you're not alone. Don't listen to the demons. You are love. You are light.
Yeah. You have the power. Call your power back.
Exactly.
Stay in a high vibration. Do things that ground you. Come back to the love frequency, which is the highest frequency. Come back into your bubble of light energy, and you got this.
Absolutely. So. And don't forget to follow us on Patreon too. You'll have access to a lot of our meditations and hypnosis stuff, and you may just see one that is helping support transmute energy here there as well. So all the stuff that you're doing, listening to this podcast, meditating, doing yoga, all those things are just supporting your well-being, your immune system, and raising your vibe. So keep doing the stuff and cast out those demons.
Perfect. I love it. And on that note, tune in, stay curious. Until next time, besitos. Bye.
Peace. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to follow us on social media @Witches Who Podcast.